All right, 6:30. Is Commissioner Bullock showing up? Do we know? Not heard anything. All right. Well, it's 6:30, so I'm gonna call to order the November 10th, 2025 meeting of the Lake Elmo Planning Commission. All right, first item is to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next item is to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Minutes. Oh, rewrite agenda, sorry. I'll just be quiet.
Oh, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the agenda for the Monday, November 10th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? And the agenda is approved. Now we need to approve the minutes from 10/15/2025. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting of October 15th, 2025.
Second?
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. The minutes are approved. All right. Next item is the public hearing for the capital improvement plan. And we're going to hear from staff.
Hi, folks.
Hello.
Hello.
I failed to put my name on there. I am Clarissa Hadler. I'm the finance director. So we are talking about the CIP tonight. Is this going to work? Ruh-roh. Sophia, I broke the things. Okay, so what is a CIP? CIP is a multi-year capital expenditure plan for a city's infrastructure, our streets, our parks, utility systems, as well as our vehicles and equipment and our public buildings. We just recently switched from a 5-year CIP to a 10-year CIP 2 years ago. So we are starting to inventory a lot more, so getting a better picture of our long-term needs. The public hearing tonight is required by the Minnesota Land Planning Act. And the idea is to just kind of compare it to the comprehensive plan and make sure that the major infrastructure needs are appropriate for a 5-year period. Our CIP includes capital projects that cost at least $25,000 and have a useful lifespan of 5 years or longer. So some of the CIP program guiding principles and the mission of the Lake Elmo, these were adopted this past winter by the City Council. Listed here, core strategies: vibrant, inclusive, connected community, responsive, transparent, adaptive governance, managed growth, efficient, reliable, and innovative services, balanced finances now and the future, and resilient infrastructure. So the CIP really kind of touches a little bit on all of those things. I'm not going to read through all of these, but these are some of our funding sources and how the projects within the CIP are prioritized. And so the summary of this 10-year CIP includes 148 projects, and a project could be as small as a piece of equipment or as big as the water treatment plant. So there's quite a wide variety. So we have a total of just over $133 million. High level, this is all of our departments, so you can't even see admin, building, and city hall. We have fire, that is largely vehicles and equipment. And then public works takes up all this purple. Breaking that out a little bit more because it's a little unfair. We have a $50 million water treatment plant in there, but it's still a tiny bit of fire and a whole lot of public works. So a lot of our CIP is infrastructure. So this is public works without the water treatment plant, broken down by vehicles and equipment, buildings, parks, and infrastructure. Again, infrastructure is a huge portion. and then broken out just a little bit more by the type of infrastructure. So just kind of going into each department, I would add there's the full CIP is in the packet if anybody would like to review that. It's available online. So admin and finance typically doesn't have very much for items in the CIP. We do have a 2-year software implementation that is going on right now. So we have the second half of that next year. Our building department just has 4 vehicles totaling $175,000. So there is 1 vehicle replacement that is planned to take place in 2027. They're on a 7-year replacement plan, and they will be sort of, I should also note that the plan, the CIP is really just kind of a sort of a loose plan. Any of these items can be changed at any point by the city council under the recommendation of staff. So City Hall, we're just starting to build out our City Hall replacement schedule. It's a brand new building, but we want to make sure that we have appropriate funding in place for when some of the shorter life items need to be replaced. We did just start a new City Hall levy list this year. The fire department has 8 projects totaling $4.5 million. Tender 2 is being replaced here in the next couple of years. That is has already been ordered, and then a utility vehicle. And then Public Works. So Public Works includes the departments of streets and sort of general public works, parks, water, sewer, and stormwater. And so we have it broken down into these various categories. Vehicles and equipment includes 30 projects in the next 10 years, totaling $3.8 million. Our buildings and some sort of related type stuff includes 10 projects totaling $1 million. Parks and Recreation has 31 projects totaling $5.3 million. Some of the planned expenditures for 26 and 27 are 1 new park pavilion, some trail additions and maintenance, some court resurfacing, and 3 playground replacements. The Streets Department, so the Street CIP is presented by the city engineer each year. He presents this fabulous color spreadsheet that he provides to us. And so he has them broken down by local residential street improvements, collector streets that are owned by the city, and then county projects with city cost participation. Street projects have a number of funding sources, including bonding, the Infrastructure Reserve Fund, some special assessments, Minnesota State Aid, and then some limited transfers from the general fund. We have 28 projects in the next 10 years, totaling almost $50 million. So in the next couple of years, we'll be doing the 2026 street improvements as well as the 2027 street improvements. And so this is, again, a number of local, your residential streets. Those do typically have a 30% special assessment on those, as well as this whole series of streets. I'm not going to rattle those off. And then we have a very large county project, the intersection of Trunk Highway 36 and Lake Elmo Avenue improvements. We also are just starting to get a handle on our street light replacements that are going to be needed in the next 25 years. So we're estimating that at an average of $125,000 per year, just based on development patterns. Of course, that'll come in various chunks depending on when a development was built. So water improvements include typically wells, water towers, water treatment facilities, water mains, pumps, etc. In the next 10 years, we have 17 projects totaling $61.6 million, the largest of which, of course, is our upcoming water treatment plant to address PFAS. That is funded through the MPCA, the 3M settlement fund, so that's roughly $50 million. There's also some water included in the 2026 street and utilities, Hudson Boulevard trunk main extension, and then another well is planned. Sewer improvements have 8 projects totaling $4.1 million. We typically will see some oversizing expenses, either through a county project or often with developments as well. Stormwater currently has 6 projects totaling roughly $1.5 million. So some of our funding, I wanted to touch on, again, we have a number of funding sources. Governmental accounting is fund accounting, which means each, we call them funds, but so each purpose. So water has a specific purpose, that has a specific customer. That is, all water projects are funded through the water fund. Same with sewer and stormwater. Streets, we often will bond for, simply because we don't have the cash to pay for a lot of these large street projects. We did just implement an infrastructure levy to try and decrease debt in the city over time, so that's new this year. We'll be building on that here moving forward. We do get funding from the state for a number of projects, and then we did just implement franchise fees, 50% of which will be going towards the infrastructure to fund those street projects. And that is the end of my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions before you open for the public hearing.
Just a quick question. I don't know if is acquisition of green space, let's say wild space, wild land, and not necessarily parks, does that fall on the CIP, or is that more of a comprehensive plan item? Because obviously, as we think way far out in the future. Well, we've done that. I don't know. I mean, as we look out in the future, you know, I think our comprehensive plan calls for a certain percentage of land that stays green, if you will, undeveloped.
I would say they work hand in hand. So
Okay.
the CIP is really the financial tool to help us to plan for the
Funding.
purchase of those. So I would say that it's, if we're talking about open space for parks and stuff, that's sort
That
of
would
in
eventually
concert
roll
with-
to your space if
Right,
there was a need or a,
yeah.
okay.
Wasn't aware that Xcel Energy is no longer doing streetlights, so is that all, it falls on the city to maintain?
So the streetlight, you're gonna test my knowledge of the streetlight issue. They are purchased originally by the developer. They're under contract with Xcel so that they provide a maintenance of those. I believe it's for a 25-year period. Feel free to jump in, Jason, if you happen to know different. And then after that, the city can decide if we want to pay for another 25 years and have them rebuilt, and then they'll take care of them again, or if we want to own them ourselves and do that, you know, separately,
Okay, all right.
independently.
That's what I was referring to.
So there's still a cost. So
Yeah.
they're essentially, they're cared for by Xcel.
For 25 years from the time.
For
of the-
25 years.
Okay.
But then they're our problem to figure out. We can, you know, here's some more money, Excel.
I believe there was a signal light in there too somewhere along the line that I read about, and that was, what,
I can't hear you,
300?
Susie.
Signal light, there was a signal light for like the new school?
I believe so, yep,
Yeah.
yes.
That used to be like $250,000. I don't know what they are now. I think it was over 300,000.
They're pricey.
Any other questions?
Should I sit down for the public hearing?
I've got a question on how do people really know this public hearing's going on? How do we get the notice out to people? Is it still the Stillwater Gazette? Is that our legal paper?
Correct. The city adopted that paper in January, so that has not changed.
Because it used to be there had to be a certain amount of circulation, and I don't know if that's still a criteria or not, because I don't think people are really getting the information out to them better. Maybe we should just, next year, maybe think about another way to vehicle to utilize to get information out.
It's there. Anytime there's an agenda published, you have to sign up for it, but I get all the agendas for all the meetings that
If you
happens,
can't, if people know about it, yeah.
It's pushed to me, but yeah.
Yeah, certainly if anybody's interested in city affairs in general, I would recommend signing up for the Fresh, because all of the agendas are in there, as well as the new city website has an opportunity to sign up for any of those agenda packets.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess I would just be curious, who's all worked on this? I mean, are each of the departments providing these numbers?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep, so the CIP is developed, I'm really just essentially the data person, and trying to figure out how we fund all of the projects. So each year, we go out to the department heads and we say, we need you to update your costs to today's dollars, because everything's represented in today's dollars, and then figure out your timing. Take a look at your equipment. Everybody has a pretty good handle on their stuff, right? They manage this stuff every day. And so they put it all together, they change their numbers, they send it to us. We go back and forth, make sure that we have all the information that we need. The preliminary CIP and early version gets presented to City Council in the summer, along kind of in conjunction with that street CIP and the pavement management plan. So they've seen an early version, and then everybody it's an iterative process throughout the year. And then the final version gets adopted in December.
And then this is just a draft, and so it says here that including a project in the CIP does not commit the city to that project. So it's sort of a working document then?
It's a working document until it gets adopted, and then even then, it's a plan, it's not an approval for purchase. So every item within the CIP does come back to the City Council for final approval.
So if the community or the citizens objected to something in here and they weren't here tonight, they'd have another opportunity to hear about it at some point in the future in front of the city council?
Yes, yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
perfect. Just want to make sure everybody knows that that's
Yeah.
available to them.
Thank you, that's a great point.
Okay.
I've got one more. Carissa, I came to the workshop on September 9th, and I believe you presented some things to the city council, and you talked about an interfund loan of $1 million from the sewer fund to buy land for a big ball complex, a $25 million plus ball complex. Is that a normal thing to do without having residents be aware of that being happening, or
And
is
the
that?
interfund loan?
Yeah, the loan is.
Interfund loans are very typical financial tools. It's essentially we've got, I don't know, 20 different funds that we manage our money through, and some of them are just better off than others. And rather than borrowing money from the bank and paying interest outside, we borrow it from a different fund and pay ourselves that
Pay
interest.
yourself back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one real quick thing, I had to laugh because I did look at it in depth, and I live in a house that was built in 1909, but it says the city hall kitchen appliances need to be replaced every 7 years. I kind of laughed, and I said, I wonder how often mine get replaced.
I know.
They're 25 years old.
They just don't make it like they used to, do they?
No, they don't.
Oh, my
But I
goodness.
had to laugh about that
Yeah.
one,
And I would add, again, it's this, we plan,
for the worst.
not for worst-case scenario, but we plan for what we think things might last. We're not gonna go out and replace all of the appliances in City Hall at 7 years just because the plan says so.
I had to
right?
laugh whenever I read that.
Yeah,
I have a weird sense of humor.
All right. With that, we need to open the public hearing. And I believe we need a motion to do that.
Motion to open public hearing.
I'll second that.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public hearing is open at 6:49. And because there's no one here to have any questions or address it all, we'll close it.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Second that.
Second? In favor?
Aye.
Public hearing's closed at 6:50.
About a minute in.
All right, and then we need to have a motion to approve this. All right.
Motion to recommend to the city council that the 2026 to 2035 capital improvement program is consistent with the 2040 comprehensive plan.
I'll second that.
Second. By,
It's a,
all right.
it's a wealth of
comments?
information. I commend all the departments and
Yeah.
city staff for the foresight of replacements and planning, and especially Public Works, as we saw, is a major piece of the pie. They've got a lot on their plate, and there's a lot of development happening here, so, and obviously, a lot of work went into it. It's not perfect, obviously, and it's a document to work off of. So thank you to city staff and to you, Carissa, for capturing all the information and compiling it for anyone to view.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I think the comments about concerns about the public awareness of the spend are important and how that's communicated. But then it does, all these individual items do go through council as well
Correct.
for approval. So if communication is warranted, I think it depends a lot. It's, the onus is on the individual a lot to go find the information because it's pretty readily available. If they want to be connected to the city, they can do that. And with that, let's take a vote on the motion on the table. All those in favor of recommending the city council, the 2026-2035 capital improvement plan program is consistent with the 2040 comprehensive plan, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Nice job.
Next on the agenda, the Old Village zoning and future land use discussion.
Good evening. Let me get the website pulled up. We're gonna use the property viewer. Can you see it on your screen? 'Cause I don't
No.
escape of. Okay. Just gonna turn a couple layers on so we can see this. So let's just turn the muse off for now. So what we're talking about tonight is just an update on the Old Village work plan. It's to review the Old Village area zoning and future land use maps in response to the Old Village study conducted in 2024. And as you know, the village study, we were able to survey residents. We did a visual preference survey. It helped inform how we'd move forward on the old fire station. And one of the things that we did after was amend the zoning. So we did a text amendment to promote small lot but single-family detached housing in medium-density areas. So that was a product that residents seem to want. It makes sense in a lot of ways for tax base and gives you flexibility to meet some of the zoning requirements when you land in the density numbers that you have to meet. So what we did after that is we decided we would look at the land use guidance and see if there was anything that we would want to work on immediately before the next round of the comp plan, which we're going to start in 2026. Our ultimate recommendation is to not do anything between that time because we're going to spend considerable money and time with, going through this process and community engagement involved. But I want to go through 3 areas that we looked at and kind of tell you how we got to the recommendation of going ahead and waiting. So this area right here, sometimes we just call this the West Village parcel. And you can see in the MUSA phasing, it is phased for the 2035 MUSA phasing, meaning if somebody came in right now that wanted to develop it, they would have to get a comp plan amendment to move it into a current MUSA phase. This site is a little challenging. We get calls from time to time. It's in a shoreline buffer. So one of the things that you would need to know about the shoreline buffer is if you do a PUD in a shoreline overlay district, half of that area needs to remain open. So about 25% of that site needs to remain open. And then right now, the future land use is low density, village low density. So we've talked to people, it's feasible to build this at, village low density. We've been requested to maybe look at medium density. It's challenging to fit that, it's challenging to fit the amount of units on that site, knowing how much open space there needs to be. So what we've told developers is if they can come up with concepts, whatever they want to do on the site, figure out the density and how to set it on the site and meet all the guidelines. But currently, we are not looking at changing the future land use from low to medium, because we think low works well on that site. So there's no urgency to change it. We're not looking at anything there. You can see to the north that is developed. Area to the east is a little bit trickier. So you can see the use of phasing here is, most of it is in the current phasing, except for this one section to the right on the other side of the tracks. Also, it's medium density, and I believe, I have to see if this is correct, but yeah, you have medium density right here. So also, we're not looking to make any recommendations to change that either. So if we did, it's such a large piece of property that it would be best if we were to change it, to go through that comp plan process, let everybody weigh in on it instead of just trying to rush this. And because if we did try to rush it, we really would have to go through the community engagement, which would be expensive and take a lot of time. Now, the other thing that's interesting, just want to show you that did come up in the review, was the area, basically the old village area. So you can see here, most of it is village mixed use. And at some point, that was changed for the 2040 comp plan, but you can see the zoning is village mixed use, and then also, I believe this is rural single family. So prior to it being village mixed use, it was general business. So essentially, those sites just went from general business to village mixed use. And one of the things to consider, and I don't think we would need to look at it we're not making that recommendation to do it now, is with the future land use map, a lot of the rural single family is village mixed use, so it's more flexible zoning. So it's something to consider whether or not the city would want to retain more residential future land use guidance in the village and kind of focus in what should be village mixed use and what should be village low density or village medium density. We don't really see it as an urgent issue, and so we're not making any recommendations to make any changes. This area here was already, since it was general business, is village mixed use. That's a good, we think that's where it would track with the land use guidance. Obviously, with the school selling, if it becomes a commercial use, it's gonna have to go through the process to be re-guided, because right now it's institutional. So that's what we looked at, and like I said, we're not making any recommendations to make any changes now. Just let it go through the process that we start next year. But if anybody has any comments or questions, go ahead and answer those.
Are you able to flip on the Musa on there too? Doesn't look like that area to the west is in that, is it?
This area is not, I mean, yeah, the Musa ends right here.
Okay.
And then you zoom up a little bit and it ends this parcel. And then down here, that's where the village ends.
Up in the area, it's just right east of Hagberg's, the 2020, 2030, that area and beyond. They've been doing a lot of core sampling there all this last several weeks.
Mhm.
And that's from the contamination plume, I believe.
That's our assumption too. So
Have you heard anything?
the owner of this site, I mean, this is all available online, but the owner of this site is let me just see if I can click on it.
It's at Home Apartments.
It's at Home Apartments, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same group that's building the site near Wildflower. So I'm sure they're looking into, that's probably their next project.
Do they own both those parcels?
Yeah, it looks like Easton Village owns, LLC owns these two,
All right.
and then Street and Family Trust owns this parcel.
And the furthest east parcel there, next to the field, right next to the existing village. Oh, furthest west, yeah, that's.
Furthest west,
Nope, you were right there, I'm thinking,
Right
I'm
here?
looking at, yeah, right next to,
Okay.
that's all high density, right?
let me just turn that on.
You
That's-
pull up the
that's high
dotty dots, I
density.
don't know what the dotty dots.
What's that?
Say, there's no legend for me to see.
Yeah, I could click on it,
Oh,
but it is, there's, let me see if I can find it. It's village high
high
density.
density, right. Jason, has your staff looked at updating the, current projects that are going on, or have you? I know you did that last year, kick that out.
The current projects?
Yeah, that list.
Yeah, we're looking at doing current projects through a story map similar to
Yeah,
this.
yeah, that was awesome.
We haven't done that yet, but the other one that we had was basically a PowerPoint PDF.
Yeah, but I think that was real informative for everybody to know what was going on.
That should still be available on the website, and we do update it quarterly.
Oh, okay, you do, awesome, great.
Good, good. I've got a question about the new development that is, where am I again? In the wrong spot.
Crossing the bank.
The crossroad with the new, where they're putting the new bank in the corner up beside,
Yep.
yep, up there. Because they've done a nice job on landscaping and so on already, they've put in trees and so on. But I noticed a lot of these new developments, they seem to bring in a lot of dirt and everything's plateaued up. And so there's a lot of runoff that's gonna be going into the cemetery, into Oni Jacobson's land and so on. Plus, I noted, we've been I believe we still have the dark sky ordinance. And I noticed that the lights that they have out there don't shine down, but yet the ones that are across it, in the development right across it, they have the ones that the light shines down, so you're not like calling down UFOs. So I was wondering if they just made a mistake doing that, because with the ones on downtown, they all have the downward light, but.
I have to look at it. I'm pretty sure we have one standard, it's an Acorn. It's a more classic looking light, but it's an LED with like a black top I believe the LED's in the top, and it just shines through the Acorn.
The acorn sky, and we're faceted, so it focuses the light down. And those are the ones in my neighborhood.
Because it looks like, it's just like a fish bowl is what it looks like, and I just wanted to make sure that, that they didn't make a mistake, that it's
Okay.
the proper thing for the lumens and so on. Okay.
I'll just add a note too, that part of the reason why we're reviewing this tonight is it is on the planning commission work plan to review the results of the survey and make changes as needed, so that's part of why you're looking at it too.
In the downtown area, do we still have, I'm changing the subject, do we still have the wildlife corridors that we're supposed to have that we had before, or are they gone?
You have a public space corridor here,
Yep.
it's being held.
Because it had to be, it should be contiguous. And we lost the one down in Tartan Park, or that Royal Golf place. Well,
All right,
All right, that's it.
thanks, Jason.
All right, thank you.
I've got one quick question for
Okay.
Jason, because I did come to the meeting, I came into both of them, and the developers were at their first open house that we had here about the different types of homes. And how did you gather all the information from, did people just come back on their computer? Did they just send things back, or is it just from whenever we had our meeting here in the building?
So that's on the website. So a lot of people use the QR code and use
Yeah, they just queue.
the internet, phone, however they wanted to vote. And it was a survey.
And like I
And
said-
as you know, some of it was a visual preference survey.
Right.
But we did accept paper. I believe you filled out a paper survey, and we entered that in.
I brought to your attention, you know, there was the thing that was, other or no option or something like that too. So some people felt I believe the only choices I have, they didn't know that they could maybe make other suggestions.
I think what you saw with the visual preference survey is people want traditional neighborhood development, and that's what we saw.
rural, and some
And we
rural.
tried our best with the medium density to allow for that, because it was kind of difficult to do that prior. But the changes, I think, will promote that, and
Yep.
it'll be interesting to see which developers come in and build it.
Well, usually it's how much money we can get, right? But, I just, like, my only comments were, you know, post 2030, 2035. Whenever somebody says that this is what the plan is, please don't change it like they have done before, you know. Whenever people come in and buy a place and they expect their surroundings to be a certain way, that should be it. And like I said about the core samples, and then open with single-family residential, keep the options open for larger lots and provide choices for our village areas. What comments I have. Everything doesn't have to be packed and stacked on top of each other.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, next, communication updates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the Planning Commission will review its 2026 work plan at the December 8th meeting. So if you have any ideas or proposals to add to that work plan between now and December 8th, please let me know. There have been no city council actions on Planning Commission items since the last meeting, and the next two meetings are November 24th and December 8th.
Awesome. All right. Any other items from anybody? Okay. Do we need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I think so. I think you can just do that.
I can just, all right, with that, well, I'm asking, you know, so you want to give people the option.
You've got the power.
All right, and with that, we'll,
I don't know, maybe I better say something, huh?
Susie, you're always welcome to.
Okay, come on, kiddos, right?
All right.
Yeah, like I said, we're missing our new person, and I really want to make sure that she gets up to speed on things. So do we do the computer classes on folks, or how is she going to get up to speed on planning issues and how to do things? Does she take classes?
That's Sophia.
Danielle is our newest Planning Commission member.
Yeah, one that is.
Commissioner Bullock's been here for.
Michelle's been here for a few years.
Michelle's been here for a few years. Yeah,
Has she?
yeah,
Okay,
she's just not here tonight.
okay. I thought you said you just got appointed.
No,
No? My
was not
mistake.
me.
Once I made a mistake, but then I was wrong.
All right, and with that, it's 7:08. We'll adjourn the Monday, November 10th Planning Commission meeting for Lake Elmo. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, okay.